Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at NBNRpodcast.com.
We have the saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Utter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me. He's like, you know what you just did?
You get mad when you go get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Hang on it, Muhammad.
GBR. Good job, Kyle. Go Big Red indeed. No block, no rock. Season 4, episode 5. Coming at you from the Nebraska Brewing Company tap room in La Vista, Nebraska. 68128. Let's talk about what we're drinking, fellas, on this somewhat warmer Monday evening. I thought these kind of days were over by now, but I am drinking a pickle fight.
Ooh.
In fact, it is so good, has me licking my lips.
Already.
Hey, Kyle, what beer from the Nebraska Brewing Company has you licking your lips?
I've got the Good Game.
Good game.
Yeah, Good Game. It's the official tailgate beer of NBNR. Chug it. You can whatever you want. Like it's good stuff.
It'll be whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mike,
exactly.
I'm going to throw it to you before we ultimately know what's coming after that.
Throw it. Caught it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm drinking the Good Game as well. It's a great beer. We experienced a good game on Saturday, so I figured we might as well celebrate with a good game.
Yeah, but you drink Good Games even. Whatever.
Eh.
Let's not overthink this.
It's light. It's good. Come get it.
Okay,
Connor.
Cav.
Okay,
Connor number 1
so I actually,
or 2.
before I get into this, I'm Connor 2 today. I owe an apology to the NBNR listeners because I told you last week that if we walked out of that game with a win, that I would start this episode with a different beer, and I failed you. And that is
Liar.
not on you.
Liar.
No,
Yeah,
I did fail them.
I'm sure they're heartbroken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
don't
I
think they care.
promise when we come back from break, I'm going to let Kyle pick my beer.
Another promise.
Oh.
Kyle
He doesn't make
gets to
promises.
pick my beer for the second half of this episode as that is my apology. But I am drinking Pilsner right now. I failed you. I will be better.
Yes.
A lot of talk.
That was a
just-
long
Anyway,
spiel.
Just a
to
long
say
way to
drinking
say I
Pilsner.
drink
It's
the
okay.
same thing every week.
We forgive you. It's fine. Just keep
Well,
drinking.
I don't care about you guys.
The listener.
You guys
the listener.
suck.
Okay, let's throw it over to our very special guest, mid-drink. His name is...
There's also a fly in here.
Yes.
It's okay. Let's make sure we're good. The fly's off you.
Hello, flies off me.
We have with us Connor Happer, the host of the Connor Happer Show on 1620.
Very
The
creatively
Zone.
named. Yes.
Yes. Every day from 10A to 2P. We want to thank you very much for coming on the podcast, first of all.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We appreciate
I
it.
listened to a couple episodes just over the last few days,
I'm sorry.
and I realized that you guys are, talking smack on people who drink Pilsners, which is odd. And so I came in here. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say Pilsner. So let's see if they make fun of me.
He prepped himself.
Yeah.
He studied it.
Yeah.
That is my dog right there. That is my dog.
I love a Pilsner. There's an art to a Pilsner. Am I wrong about this? Pilsner
not.
defender.
You are entirely
Okay,
correct.
thank you. There's an art to a Pilsner.
It's a hard beer to make.
It is a hard beer to make.
The brewmaster is like, yes, yes, of course. That's why I drink it. And it's not because you don't like to venture out.
Hey, you can get it in a can, right?
Are you trying to break my heart
It's the
today?
exact same
Are you trying to
thing.
break my heart today? Also, Connor, I want to point out that you say your show is creatively named.
Yeah.
You don't need to be creative when you've got such a beautiful name.
Well, Connor, great name.
Yeah.
When I learned that was going to be happening, I was tasked to come up with a name for the show or some things that I wanted to figure out within a couple weeks. And I sat on it for a long time.
Yeah.
I got drunk. I tried to ask my friends, what should I call this show? And I ended up thinking every idea that they came up with was horrible. So we basically just didn't name the show. And then I just called it the Connor Happer Show.
Do you recall?
I didn't want to call it the Connor Happer Show, but I did.
Do you recall any of the dumb names or
There was a lot of
suggestions.
like sandwich talk because I like sandwiches. You know, it's over the lunch. It's over the lunch hour. So like lunch, you throw lunch in there somehow.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to do any like the corny like sports phrases. You know, like unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah,
in the
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Yeah. What a boring name.
random penalty flags, things like that. No, I wasn't going to do any of those. So we ended up on the most generic thing possible. But I don't remember any of them specifically.
Well,
Well, there was a lot of conversation about lunch, which I love lunch.
lunch. Just call it lunch.
We could have just called it lunch. That was probably one of them. Lunch.
Do you get to eat lunch on your show? Because
No, it's one of my biggest complaints.
Yeah.
I have to eat lunch before I leave home, which is
at 9 a.m.
yeah, I'd leave it at like 9:00.
Wow.
Wait,
Yeah.
so your show 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
You just don't eat lunch
I
after?
can't eat lunch. There's no lunch. There. What am I supposed to do? Eat at 2:30? No, it's almost dinner by then.
Hear me out. You just need the right sponsor, and then you will talk about the food you're eating live on air.
Thank you. I agree.
Duh.
While in the microphone going,
Oh my God,
Yeah.
this burger from
I'll be licking my
Burdett
lips.
Sports Bar is
You'll be-
so good.
I'll be licking my lips all
Ruling
show
it.
long.
okay, well, speaking of
Licking our
this
lips.
whole lip thing, right?
Yeah.
I just want to go around and ask what each of your guys' weirdest tick is. We all have something
Oh,
about us.
I know mine immediately.
Okay, you go first.
I can guarantee you anytime that I get even a little anxious, I start pulling on the corner of my mustache.
Yeah.
Every single time.
You don't
I'm sure
twirl
you guys
it.
have seen me do it at that. No, I don't
You
twirl it.
just
That is something I refuse to do. I've been asked to do a million times. I will not do it.
Good.
But I'll just pull. Just pull on the edge of my mustache.
okay.
It's a good move, though.
You have
Yeah.
I got something. I'm a close talker.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Especially when I'm excited. If I'm
Oh, yeah.
excited, I'm
Jesus.
getting like we're getting an not nose touching, but
It's
damn near.
At the tailgate on Saturday, Mike was so excited about these deviled eggs they had at the tailgate.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
My wife Carly was like sitting in her chair. She's watching some games like on the TV, and Mike comes over, and I'm not shitting you. He damn near dipped this deviled egg on her nose and was like, "Here you go." And Carly was like, "Oh, okay,
Oh, okay,
thanks."
sure.
Yeah,
And guess what? She liked it.
she did.
Yeah. Me putting it close to her mouth. And she liked the devil.
Yeah.
liked it. The deviled egg too.
All right, it's my turn.
Yeah.
I usually do this. I usually go like this. I do this way
Oh,
too much.
Dude, I get
Take
that.
the hat off. Maybe I got no hair. You
Yeah.
know, like I just go like this. I don't know why. It's just a thing when I get however I get. I have no idea.
I do the same thing too.
It's just I just take my hat off, put it back on.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's the
think
thing.
for me, I just recently, got hired by Herd at Sports.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so like filming things in front of crowds, if I'm just like walking around, I get real anxious because I'm in front of a bunch of people. And so I start like biting my lip. I start like swallowing my lip or like playing with my soul patch down here.
Yeah.
And it just, it's kind of annoying. Another thing though, is like when I say hi to people, I will ask you, "Hey, how you doing?" It doesn't, I don't care if there's 10 people in a line where I'm like greeting. It's going to be, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey,
like
how
a
you
robot. You don't
like-"
expect an answer. It's just you have to
Exactly.
say hi.
You don't actually care how they're doing.
But I do care, Mike. I do care, but it's just something that like I have to get rid of.
I think what Mike is saying and what you're saying is when you say how you doing is like you do care that they're doing well, but it's not meant to be a conversation starter.
No,
Exactly.
You
There
like
it is.
when you get asked that question,
It's a greeting.
your answer should just be like, "Good, how are you?" And the response should be, "Good." This
That's
is
it.
not a conversation
Yeah.
starter.
No,
or
dude,
starter.
like, when people-
that's it.
When people ask how your day's going, you're not going to launch into, "Hey, I'm getting divorced and I got served papers and I'm
Yeah.
going to court." And nobody wants to hear that shit. Just say, "Good, move it along."
Yeah.
I hope
I don't need to hear your sob
Yeah.
story.
I hope
Yeah.
you're doing well, but
My
I
kid-
don't care that much.
My kid shit his pants on the way to school. I don't. I mean, that's
Yeah, so did
interesting.
Mike.
You
We're
realize
not
though,
talking
when,
about that.
when you're asking how are you doing, you are opening yourself up to that possibility.
You're not wrong.
So you have to
Yeah.
maybe we do back it down and we go back to hi.
Yeah.
Or hey,
Sup.
hello,
Yeah.
sup.
Sup.
Also
Hi,
works.
bye.
Yeah,
No
'cause
fuss.
I'm also really bad at responding to anything bad. Like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Well, my dog died yesterday." It's like,
Oh, well, I
think
didn't
that's
expect
sorry.
that.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know.
So
You don't
there's
give
room
them a
for
hug like
No.
Mike
Yeah.
would. Here's a
Jared,
deviled egg.
Jared, what's your thing?
My thing, I have two things. I am even when I'm not nervous, I'm a perpetual mouth chewer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I eat the inside of my mouth.
Me too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's one thing.
That's a thing, and you guys both
Yeah.
do it?
Yeah.
I've been known to do that as well.
The
Yeah.
hell?
I don't know. It's just
Bunch
like
of
the,
psychopaths.
like the sides of your cheeks.
Oh,
the
mine is
inside
just
of your
Like in
cheeks.
here.
Oh, mine just like the front of my lip.
I
Yeah.
eat the inside of my mouth.
What the?
Yeah. You're
I don't
not
know.
actually eating it, Mike. Calm down.
No, I
Wow.
am eating my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I'm just saying. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
The other thing is too, like my shirts. I'll always pick up my shirt. So, again, I don't even think I'm like even when I'm not nervous. I'll just like pick up my shirt and just do this over and over again. And just,
You have bugs on
just
you?
like- no,
Yeah.
I don't. I'll
It's
just
definitely a tick.
yeah. It's just like, and I'll just like play with my shirt and then I'll boom and just
Ano-
keep going.
Another big one. You guys ever get like really weird about how your socks fit? Like I constantly like if my socks aren't like,
This is why I asked because
What? No.
I got weird ticks, brother.
No.
Yeah, if my socks aren't like perfectly on and I start getting like a little anxious, like I gotta fix my sock. My shoes are coming off and my feet do not smell good.
Oh,
Huh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I am
I'm
glad.
glad. I'm honest.
That was the detour nobody wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connor, how are your feet?
I know,
My feet are
honest.
great. Been complimenting my feet all the time. Pics are for sale. You know, whatever.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're out there.
You on Feet Finder?
Big time.
Go. It's called.
That's a real website.
It's called
Oh, it definitely is.
It's
It's a
called
real website.
lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
We are so off the rails already.
Nebraska
We're not
football.
into anything yet.
Okay.
Is that what we're talking about? Nebraska football?
Yes.
That's what we're doing?
Yeah, this is the podcast you signed up for. Weird.
I love this.
Hey, just real quick. Glass.
Every
In
glass.
every glass.
All right.
Cool.
Nebraska football. Okay. I did not want to start with this, but it came out today that Gabe Irvin has 0 hip. So he's not playing for the rest of the year.
Dislocated from the rest of his body.
Yeah.
And
That's incorrect. He doesn't have 0 hips. He has 1.
Yeah.
He just has 1.
one less than he should.
Yeah.
And Ramir Johnson also out. Didn't expect this. Like I know that they came out of the game, but we just kind of figured it got a whole week. We're good. We'll just let some time pass and everything will be fine. But no, what the heck? This kind of struck me.
Battering
So,
ram.
Yeah, your battering ram's out. Connor,
Mhm.
Happer,
Thank you.
the running back room.
Connor won.
Connor
Yeah,
won.
Connor 1.
Connor won.
I'll be
King-
Connor 2
yeah.
for today.
King Connor, feet Connor. The running back room, you watch these games and sometimes the rotation's a little puzzling, but we know who RB1 is, and he is no longer.
Yeah.
So, right, Anthony Grant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Absolutely. That's your only
it.
choice. Yeah. That's your only choice. I mean, you have Emmett Johnson and then Quentin Ives is the next guy.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen either of those two yet. And so it's going to have to be Anthony Grant. And so then Jeff Sims comes back and it'll be Jeff Sims and Anthony Grant. And we'll have some potential for fumbles if you guys like a little bit of fumbles.
I don't.
So, Connor, you mentioned something that I brought up in our group chat today.
He did not say.
No,
Damn
well,
it,
let me get into this.
Oh, who's going to change positions? Is it Heinrich or Sims?
Sims.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
I suggested
Yeah.
Sims as he's not going to be your bell cow. He's not going to be your dog, but as a short yardage back. Am I crazy to suggest that? These guys did not love that proposal.
Somebody asked the same thing on my show today, and I said, no, I don't think that's going to happen.
Thank you.
No.
I don't think that's going to
You
happen.
don't need to be so quite as nice on the No Block
Well-
No Rock podcast, by the way.
So my question is not whether it will happen, but could it work?
He wouldn't be better than Grant. I mean, he wouldn't be better than Johnson or Ives either.
Even as a short yardage back, specific scenario.
Definitely
I
not
don't
Ives.
I don't think so. Like, I mean, the whole thing about his game, like you put him in the quarterback run game, he's the extra guy. He could be really good in that situation. I want to keep him at quarterback. Like I understand that he's had some problems so far, but
6 of them.
yeah. That's crazy, man. I've been behind him over the last couple of weeks. He had turnover problems at Georgia Tech, but what he did in his first 2 games here was like double or triple that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to come back down to earth at some point. And they can't afford to wait too long. So now that we've seen Heinrich Harburg, the leash is shorter, obviously. But I mean, when he's healthy, he's going to be the quarterback. And as long as he doesn't fumble 4 more times or drop the snap, try to pick it up, and stuff like that. So that's another reason why I don't think he'll play running back, because I think he's going to be playing quarterback, So
Yeah, so I mean that does bring us to the next topic of conversation. We have a lot of TikTokers wanting to know.
What's up, TikTokers?
What's up? Hey, there he is right there. Hopefully they see him. Harburg and Sims. Now, that's kind of been going around is if Jeff Sims is healthy, he is going to start. I mean, that's kind of the vibe that we're getting from Rhule. I guess the question is, do you think that's what should happen?
I do. Yeah, I do. I'm probably on an island on this one because we saw Heinrich. Like, okay, where are we at? Heinrich? Are you Heinrich Harburg guy?
Yep.
Heinrich Harburg.
I'm definitely strong lean.
Harburg.
No, I said Jeff Sims. I think
Okay, no, hold on. I want to address that immediately.
I said Jeff
In our
Sims
group
will
chat-
be the quarterback.
You said Jeff Sims is QB1, and my response was, but it should be Harburg. And you responded with, I'm not disputing that point.
I'm not disputing your point of saying he should be. I'm saying
But
that
so, but this
Jeff
isn't. We're
Sim-
not asking who is going to be. We're asking who you want.
given the circumstances, right? Jeff Sims went on the road and played 2 Power 5 teams. Harburg got to go home in front of his own crowd
Group of 5.
and play a G5 team.
Sure.
Right.
Jeff Sims, if he didn't get hurt, would have started on Saturday.
Yeah.
100%. If you
No
listen to Matt Rhule talk, Jeff Sims would have started on Saturday.
Correct.
Do I think Jeff Sims could have done the same elementary thing that Heinrich did? Yes. I think Jeff Sims is a run-first guy. He has to be because he is not very accurate. But I don't think Heinrich Harburg is also super accurate either. So
No, I think the thing that's changed the most from the start of the season is that there's not as big of a gap as everybody.
no,
thought
yeah,
there was.
that's kind of where I'm at too.
So, and now we've seen the 2 games with Sims, and he's made a lot of mistakes. So the leash is no doubt shorter.
6 inches.
It's pretty small at this point. But I still think, I mean, especially with those 2 running backs gone now too, like you're gonna need to find some ceiling. Like Sims has a higher ceiling than Heinrich Harburg does. So, and let's not forget that he was single-digit number guy, and went to Big Ten media days. He's well respected by the team. Like, I just don't think you lose that quick. They put together a whole offseason plan with him, and I think they thought they could make it work. And I don't think you throw it away after 2 games.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't see this staff giving up on Sims and just throwing him away after 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I think if you do,
it's
I think
5,
you're
if
crazy.
it's 6, then that's what it is. But I don't think it's time yet.
But do you have the luxury of assuming, as Matt Rhule, do you have the luxury of assuming that the 6 turnovers in the first 2 games are not going to last?
Well, he's going to turn the ball over some. We know that. That's just, what he came in 25 games, 25 picks in his career at Georgia Tech.
Something
Like he's going to throw an interception. I think what you can't live with is dropping shotgun snaps. The general organizational piece of the offense, right? It was frantic. It was hurried. The motions, right? The one almost hit Billy Kemp. The one did hit. The other guy coming across, big guy, 44. Lindenmeyer, thank you.
Papio.
Lindenmeyer. Yeah, so they got to get better at the organization piece of it, and I think they feel like they need to give him a chance to have that operation better around him. So some people suggested on my show today, what if both of them played this week, and you had sort of a tryout thing? I don't know if I love that situation either. I just think it's too early to go down that road, all the way down that road.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a decision, you're going to make a decision, but I don't think it's time yet.
I think Louisiana Tech is that tryout for Jeff Sims. I really do. I think he needs to play well. He's going to have that short leash, and if he turns the ball over, Heinrich's coming in.
It's just fundamental stuff.
Yeah,
it's just fundamental stuff. Have the offense in shape and don't drop shotgun snaps.
Don't put butter on your hands before the game, and you might be fine.
I will agree with you there. I heard the people talking about doing it a half and a half, and I don't like that idea at all. But what you just said is you went against 2 Power 5 programs the first 2 weeks on the road, and so if you give Jeff Sims the opportunity to okay, we've got a Group of 5 school coming in, and if you can perform just like Heinrich Harburg did against Jesus, I was at the game.
Northern Illinois.
And
2 days ago.
Yeah. And if you can perform just as well as Heinrich did, then, we can move forward. But ultimately, it was Jeff's job to lose, I guess, if you will. And he had 6 turnovers. Heinrich comes in, has a clean game. He made one obvious mistake where he threw into triple coverage, and it almost got picked off
directly to a linebacker, and that could have been bad.
Jeff Sims has done that as well.
But But
like I said,
like I said last week, and I caught some flack for it. It was dude, what can Jeff Sims do that Heinrich Haarberg can't do? And everybody's like, well, he's not running for 100 yards, and he ran for 100 yards on Saturday. I understand the skill difference, but he had one fumble that realistically most quarterbacks are going to drop.
Yeah.
A blindside hit.
They go ahead. You've been waiting to talk for.
Oh, no, you're fine. My only thing was I give Jeff Sims a little bit more credit than I think a lot of Nebraska fans are giving him right now.
Yeah.
Opening up the season in Minnesota. Minnesota last year was a very, very hard defense to play against. They were this year as well. They're maybe not quite as high ranked as they were last year, but still a very good defense. And so turnovers over like in that game with him moving to a real Power 5 school, it's going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah. I think there's just something to taking the whole operation on the road and on a Thursday night. And you don't know, like, this is one of the things that we talked to Rhule about in Indianapolis. Like, you can think everything about your team and you can think about what you're going to get, but you have no idea until they play. Yeah. And so that's the difficulty of playing that first game up there and against that type of team. I mean, most other teams in the country get Northern Illinois in their first game, and it changes things a little bit. I wonder what happens if Nebraska gets Northern Illinois in their first game. So, yeah, I mean, there's a piece where I'm not ready to throw that completely out the window yet.
It's the same like Akron thing, right? When former head coach Scott went and had that game canceled against Akron and had to open against Colorado conveniently, and they lose that game.
Yep.
If you get that tune-up game, do you think that we blow the brakes off Colorado? Probably.
I don't know.
I mean, you never know. You'll never find out either. But it's the same thing.
Yeah, confidence is huge.
Yeah.
Like they needed some positive reinforcement on what they were doing all summer, and so that's why that game on Saturday was pretty good. Hopefully, you do it again this Saturday.
So I just I don't want to be like the Haarberg defender, that guy, but it's just like with Sims, went on the road against tougher teams. There's no doubt, but the mistakes that he was making weren't because of them.
Right.
It was
totally
this, and I'm going to keep saying this until this team can put together a consistent winning streak. It's all up here. So I think a lot of people would argue Haarberg, he's the hot hand right now. He seems to have the confidence of the team behind him. I know it's one game. I get that. There might be a big skill difference between Jeff Sims and Haarberg, but that's not really what this team in 2023 needs. They don't need a quarterback that is Heisman Sims. They just need someone back there that won't fuck up and drop a snap.
Maybe, but they got to run the ball better in order for that to happen. You know?
Sure.
Like you can't, I don't think you can have a game manager quarterback and a lack of a conventional run game and a lack of deep shot wide receivers. Like that's not an offense.
Now,
right?
And for the run game, I guess we can get in the run game. And now that Irvin's out,
your top two running backs.
Yeah, and Ramirez out.
It's like you see Haarberg run. I mean, he just runs with a different mentality than Sims, I feel like. And as long as Sat sticks with it, you guys, this team is like top 20 in rushing yards per game, and they average over 5 yards a carry. So as long as Sat doesn't get cute on 3rd and 3 and tries to be fancy pants, I think the running game will be okay. You know, they have Grant's a serviceable back. But as long as Sat sticks with it and doesn't get cute in certain situations, I think the running game is fine.
There are 4 words that come to mind with the news that we got today, specifically for Anthony Grant: ball security, job security. That's all we need. If he can secure the ball, he's a great back.
Yeah, I think it's job security regardless because
he ain't got nobody else
behind him. I don't know if he's going to have that short leash anymore because you don't have 2 experienced guys. You got 2 freshmen who haven't played.
Long for him.
Yeah, it's never ending now. It's just like, hey, try not to turn the ball over because he had the one fumble. It was crucial, but he had the one fumble in the quarterback situation. A little different.
I'll say this for Grant too. Like he's a guy who is better later in the game. Yeah. And I think they have a couple running backs, you know, Irvin is that way too, but he's better later in the game. So he takes a while for him to get going and in a rhythm. He's a rhythm guy. Like it's better for him when he has 15 carries than when he has 6.
Yeah.
So You have to avoid the big mistake, just like Jeff Sims has to avoid the big mistake, right? But like I do think that's a formula that can work for them. But the margin for error is just, it was really thin without the playmakers at wide receiver, and now it's like even smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how you are going to combat that with quarterback. It's like, okay, do you want to minimize the risk, or do you want to try and go for a little bit more ceiling? And I don't know what's going to get you what at this point. You look around at the rest of the league and you're like, oh, well, maybe we can go game manager. Like maybe we can, everybody else is about, they look the same as you basically right now. So there's something to be said for that. But, the next two games, they get to sort of, or the next couple games, they get to sort of figure it out and what they want to do at that spot and how they want to be the rest of the year.
Yeah. And I think like in reference to which quarterback should start or gives us the best opportunity to win, that was the big topic last week.
Mm-hmm.
You have a defense that can keep you in games as long as you don't have 3 turnovers a game.
Yep.
100%. Those guys are balling out. It might be a good transition to start talking about the defense. I don't know if you want to go there yet, but as long as you're not turning over the ball 3 times a game, that defense will keep you in most games.
Yeah, I mean, I think just for the last thing, for me, you guys can disagree with me, but I am in full Iowa mode. Get me a game manager. You got a salty defense.
Yeah.
Your special teams seems improved for the most part. There's still certain little things. I'm in game manager mode.
I'll say I think they think Sims can be that. Like I think that's what they think. Now if he keeps fumbling the ball, then obviously it doesn't work like that. But I think he cuts that down, then that's a formula that can work for them.
And I think the other thing too is we keep saying that he has a short leash. Well, I mean, where do we draw that line? Because I mean, Connor, number one, you said, look, interceptions are going to happen. I mean, that's just part of being a quarterback. So it's like, is it at the first interception and the crowd's going, boo, boo?
No, it would have to.
It's going to happen.
It would have to get bad again. It would have to feel like it did in Colorado.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just dropping stuff.
That's when you make a quarterback move. Like, I mean, that's when stuff feels like it's exploding and blowing up around you. That's when, I mean, we remember when they made the move in the 2020 season to Luke McCaffrey.
Yep.
And it's like, that got bad enough. That made a lot of sense. Adrian was horrible against Northwestern. And then Luke McCaffrey, started against Penn State and they won. And that got sideways from there. But okay, so that's a good lesson, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the danger of it because they were going back and forth, teeter-tottering the whole year, and they never figured out what they wanted to be or what they wanted to do. The good thing about this staff is they have a really good idea what they want to be and what they want to do outside of the quarterback spot. They just have to figure out what the best way the quarterback is and how he fits into the puzzle.
Give me anybody that just protects the ball. I don't care.
Yeah. Which one can handle a shotgun snap?
Yep.
No,
it's the bare minimum, baby.
Lucas dropped in the chat. He said Sims will be QB1. They've invested too much time and money to just drop him now.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like a we're stuck with him thing.
I don't think we're stuck with him.
I've seen people talk about that. Like they saddled up with Jeff Sims and like you can't take it back now. Like, no, they're gonna do whatever is best in order for the team to win games. I just think they believe in him. Like, it's not like sinister, like he's got the Amigos deal. No,
right.
No, they believe in him and they think he can win games for him.
The one thing that I wonder is like if Rhule's gonna play the long-term thing, right? Is Heinrich Harburg the answer to that then? Because then because he did that question. At the other stops, he's played the younger guy eventually.
So is your quarterback in 2 years on your roster right now?
I don't know. Think? Maybe if Heinrich Harburg's your guy, he is, because he's only a redshirt freshman.
Yep.
With all the extra year things. But yeah.
See, I sort of doubt it. I don't know that your quarterback in 2025 is here yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
whether he's in the portal or whether he's a freshman.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if Heinrich Harburg gets all these reps, say for some reason Jeff Sims has butterfingers and loses the job, and Heinrich Harburg leads us to a 5-7 season or something, do you continue to move forward with Heinrich Harburg because he's getting those live actual in-game reps, or is it going to be something else? I don't know.
Is he protecting the ball? Give me him. That's all I'm going to say. I can't
it's a low bar. It's a low bar for me.
It's something I've said. And Connor, while not necessarily totally agreeing with me, we do.
Yeah, we
telepathy
got
thing.
the Connor thing. Yeah,
He said our quarterback for 2025
yeah.
is maybe not here yet. I've said 100 times.
Oh,
Dylan Raiola is
Oh
going to
my
be in the
God.
All right. Now, I just have like one more point that I think.
But Zane Flores,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Flores,
exactly.
Oh gosh.
just saying. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
I don't know how well it's going. It's not going well at Oklahoma State
Not at
right
all.
now. I mean, I don't know about for him,
God,
but
I know.
it's not going very well
Ooh.
for him.
ooh, that was bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of options after every single football season.
Just sticking with Sims versus Harburg. Now, I think the coach's office, I think they badly want Sims to work out. And it's just my concern is who does the locker room want? Now, I understand the players, they're not the coaches. And they should stay out of stuff like that. It's just who has the locker room right now? And this is a big decision for Rhule. Like, this is the first one where it's like, oh, this is why he's getting paid almost $10 million a year.
Well,
Because, I mean, any decision he makes, I think it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. So
I think what this staff and specifically Rhule is really good at is they are super transparent and upfront and honest about everything. So when you go into a game and, you know, whatever the quarterback situation is this weekend, both of those guys and everybody else on the team will know the context in which they're entering the game, right? If it's Heinrich Harburg's, let's just say they say this week this won't happen, but let's just say they say, well, yep, Sims is out long term and it's Heinrich Harburg's job. They'll say that to them, and then they'll say it to everybody else, and everybody will know the context, and then the team could sort of get behind them. So, like, I don't think this is really a situation where you're going to see like locker room division over which quarterback they're going to play. I could have seen that on the previous staff, obviously, because there was, you know, lack of communication all over the place there. But like, you know, they do a really good job at that. I don't know the answer to your question. Like, I don't know who the locker room likes more, but I do know they'll be super open about it, which is good. Everybody knows where they stand inside the locker room. Everybody knows where they're at and what they need to do to get on the field. Like, there's no like, hey, you're going to play because we like you more. I mean, that always happens with football teams. Politics are involved, but I mean, I think they really do a good job of staying away from that as much as they can.
okay. Any other QB points?
No.
Okay.
No.
Kyle, this defense, like you said, is salty.
Yeah.
Now, 2000 Baltimore Ravens might be taking a little too far.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Did somebody say that?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's just your say
In
right now.
I'm a Ravens fan, and that's part of the reasons why I became a Ravens fan, because of that defense.
They were pretty good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're playing good this year, right?
No, Trent
Yeah,
Dilfer
they're
was the GOAT on that team.
Yeah, if it wasn't for
There's
Dilfer.
your game manager.
Yeah.
Can
there.
somebody be
There's-
Dilfer?
There's your
Weird.
guy.
Dilfer,
Come on.
Dilfer could handle a snap.
He could throw a dime too.
Now, for this defense, I mean, you watch these guys, and they seem all on the same page. It seems like they've really embraced, like, we are the dudes on this team, and we know, yeah, our back's probably going to be hurting come November, but this is our team. So, Connor Happer, would you agree or disagree that this defense, I mean, they're stopping the run?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest issues that
Number two in the country
top,
right now.
Yeah,
in
they're
rush
top
defense.
2 in rush defense. Now, granted, they played Colorado, not a huge rushing team, and they played NIU. Take that for what that's worth.
But they
Minnesota.
played Minnesota, who, I mean, has historically been, at least under PJ Fleck, a 70-30 rushing team.
Yeah, but if you're holding teams, it doesn't matter who they are. Under 60 yards rushing.
That's
And they,
wild.
Northern Illinois had 26 last week.
Right.
Or on Saturday. Like,
Crazy.
They had -5 after the first quarter. Like, that's insane.
and they they had what, 145 yards total, I think Northern Illinois did, and they got 50-ish of it on the last drive against
Yep.
third
Bullshit
stringers.
petty drive.
Yeah.
Calling timeouts
Oh, you didn't
and going
like that?
for two.
You didn't like that?
I'm okay. From the if I was a Nebraska fan and we were doing that, I'd be okay with it. But me, my score prediction was 20-3, and I was sticking
there
with
it
it.
is.
I got the 3 right,
There it
and then
is.
they did that.
I was just mad because I want to go home. Like,
that
I was
too.
it was just like,
that
come on,
too.
we gotta
Yeah,
end this
I was
thing.
ready to leave.
Let's end this thing. It's been over for a long time. No, man, the defense is awesome. I think the best part about it is they're playing, you know, more than 20 guys. You know, like they're everywhere. Everybody knows what they're doing. There doesn't seem to be a drop off. Like, they're good right now, and I think they're really good right now, better than I expected them to be for sure this year. But the best thing about it is it's going to make them better in 2 years, in 3 years. They are developing live and on the fly, and they've made it really easy to sort of understand. Obviously, they've played an interesting sort of trio of opponents so far, where you see different styles and stuff like that, and they've held up against all of them. But yeah, I mean, you said it, like, you know how this team is oriented. That helps, right? Like, if you don't know what the strength of your team is going in, that you can't play complementary football. Like, it's very clear that, I suppose that's the good part of having a bad offense, is that you know who your best unit is and what they need to do in order to win games. And they have to get the job done. There's a lot of weight on their shoulders right now. But Nebraska's offense, the bar is really low for them because of what the defense is doing. All the offense has to do is extend drives and flip fields
and protect the ball.
That's going to be the story this entire year. So extend drives, flip fields, and protect the ball. And that's all because of what the defense is doing. It's good at every level. I don't know about you guys, but Dash Hutmaker was like, that was one of the better individual defensive performances I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
He controlled everything in the middle, and a couple other, like, there's been 6 other guys that have flashed over the 3 weeks that I was like, I didn't even think that they were going to play.
Right.
So, yeah.
You see guys like Omar Brown and Deshaun Singleton. It's like
Javen Wright had a great game on Saturday night.
He balled out.
Yeah. He was doing stuff before he had the pick too. I mean, he was awesome.
Like, you go from the previous staff where you might have heard their name, but it's like, he's not going to play. But now it's like, I expect them to make a hit or to maybe intercept the ball. You expect them to make a play now.
They really trusted their 11 guys, and they went with those guys and developed them pretty much exclusively. How do you develop easiest? You play.
Yeah.
You play like this. So that comes from the coaches. You have to trust guys, even though you don't know them.
Right.
You just have to throw them out there and trust them and see what happens. And in order to do that, you gotta coach them really well, and you have to trust that they know what they're going to do, what they're doing when they get out there. So this staff does a really good job at that. Tony White is an awesome teacher. I would love to have Tony White as my teacher.
Mr. White.
Like Mr. White. Can you be my 11th grade chemistry
defense
teacher? Yeah, that'd be awesome. They've done a really, really good job with that. Just,
Yeah, we were so concerned about the 3-3-5 as most people were.
Sure.
And it just looks, you can see guys like, they look like they're on the prowl. They're linebackers. They're like sneaking up to the line, and then they back out, and it's like, it all just kind of like flows, right? Like, wherever the ball is at, you see the whole defense like moving towards it.
They just start here, like, they just tackle. Like, they just tackle.
Yes.
Like,
organized chaos.
Everybody talks about how they go to the ball, and they do. They're all there, but they tackle. Like, in the open field, they've made several touchdown saving amazing tackles this year. I mean, that's a huge step up from what it's been.
Which was the huge difference against Colorado. Like, you look at Colorado, TCU, and TCU was just missing tackles all over the field. And there's a reason why the first half of that game was so successful for that defense, is because that was not happening.
Yep. One thing that, again, we talk about, in rush defense, we are number 2 in the nation, only behind Army, if I'm correct.
Air Force, right?
Yeah, Air Force.
Thank you.
Oh,
Service Academy.
Yeah, it was close enough.
Yeah.
But I believe in overall defense, we're ranked like 69. And that is not a joke. That is, I believe, the actual ranking.
Nice.
One thing that I wish I saw more out of this defense is we are not really forcing turnovers.
No.
We're good at giving the ball away. We are not good at getting it. And that's, again, we already are putting a lot of pressure on this defense to be the backbone of this team. So I feel like it's maybe a little bit unfair to continue to ask more of them. But there's a lot of room to grow.
Well, yeah, this team's not good enough to just say, hey, here's the ball, and then we can't force them. So we have to be good enough to just get the ball back, but we can't do that. But I will say, and this isn't necessarily to counter your point, I mean, the thing that got me, that convinced me that this is just a different team, despite the way Minnesota went and all that, was after the Heinrich Harburg strip sack, could have easily just, starting
touchdown,
on the 6. Okay, here we go. Bowed up, force a field goal. I'm like, here we are.
Yeah.
I think this defense is here.
Yeah, that was a big statement for sure.
Dare we say bend not break?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're not getting turnovers, then
Yes.
you call them a bend don't break defense.
Yes.
By the way, I did look it up. 29th in total defense.
29.
29.
Oh, so I was
Yeah.
far off.
You're about by 40.
So 91st in pass defense.
Thanks to Colorado.
Second in rush
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah. And Connor, I heard on your show.
46 yards a game.
I heard on your show today, you guys were kind of talking about that 09 defense a little bit. And there isn't a Prince Amukamara or an Ndamukong Suh on this defense.
No.
But you kind of are setting the stage for a guy. Maybe one of those guys will be one of those guys eventually. Maybe a Nash could be a really prominent guy later on. But I like the rotation, the 15, 18 guys that are playing.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of guys who are going to be really good in a couple of years. It's nothing really like that 09 defense except for like statistically right now. You're right. There's no Suh. I think their defensive backs are good, but I still wouldn't like, okay, is it Prince and DeJon Gomes and Eric Haig? Like, I don't think yet, but I like those guys. Like I like Hartzog.
Dog.
And I like Newsome, and he had a good game on Saturday too. But it's just really solid at all levels. But you nailed it. They got it. They're going to need him to get turnovers.
Mhm.
They're going to need him to get takeaways. So that's the next step in the evolution, I think, of the defense. And if they do that, then the bar is going to be super low for the offense.
Right.
Then they won't have to do much of anything.
Right. Well, and like
Give me a couple field goals.
if you, going into break here real quick, I just want to say, if you are Matt Rhule and Tony White, and you're like, okay, we've got success on the defensive side of the ball, that would help you in the recruiting trail. 100%. You go out and you say, look, we're playing 20 guys right now a game, and we need you to be the Ndamukong Suh. We need you to be the star of the defense.
It helps you get guys, and it helps you get just, not the Suhs of the world. I know there was a lot of people at that game, recruits at that game on Saturday, who was just like, yeah, that looks like fun to me.
Right.
They were moving in and out, and
they've got true freshmen playing.
Yeah. All across the defense. Yeah. Yeah. They get it on special teams early too. Yeah. It's a good spot right now.
And I know Mike is really, really thirsty, but with all the moving in and out, you would expect some guys out of place or dudes going like this, palms up, as they say. I can't recall any time, and maybe this is rose-colored glasses, but I cannot recall a time where I'm like, what are they doing? Where's that guy at? Blah, blah, blah. They look organized chaos, like Mike said.
I can't think of a coordinator in the 20 years of Nebraska's, churning coach stream. I can't think of a coordinator who's had a better beginning, first impression than Tony White.
Yeah.
I really can't. They've started out really well. And usually Eric Shander was on the hot seat 10 seconds into him being the defensive coordinator in Nebraska. And then he got better over time.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mark Banker. He was on the hot seat immediately, and they ended up being pretty good.
We loved Bob Diaco before they played games.
Right.
Yeah. Just before Bob Diaco before they played games.
Before they gave him the microphone. Yeah.
So
When he was holding the microphone out here, we loved it because he was quirky and weird, but he's kind of a genius. But no.
Evil genius. Yeah. But they have they just have so much different stuff that they're doing to make it confusing on offenses, and especially with offenses that don't do a whole lot in the creativity category, they're going to be okay. If just imagine it, if they had that ace pass rusher, it'd be even easier for those defensive backs, right? So that's sort of the next step. That's how you get turnovers. It's weird because they're one of the top teams in the country in sacks, but it still doesn't feel like they're generating that much pressure from the edge and the conventional.
It doesn't seem like dominant right now.
Right. So that's the next thing.
I know this is going to rile up some social media impressions. Because Colorado fans are very vocal right now. But I'll tell you, the reason we are, I believe, tied for first in sacks in the nation right now, if not
I'll check it again.
in first, is because of how weak that Colorado O-line was. We should not have got to Shedeur Sanders. What did we get him, 8 times?
8 times.
Yeah. We should not have got to him 8 times. It's just a weak O-line over there.
Yep.
You're
All
not
right.
wrong. You're
Cool.
not wrong.
Let's take a quick break and we'll be back.
All right.
everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
We have the saying, no block, no rock.
Thanks, Troy. I think coming into back to break, from break, playing Cream, Cash Rules Everything Around Me, and what we were talking about before, I think Tony White, pay that man.
Pay him.
Listen, when you have Urban Meyer gushing over your defense, people are going to start calling. So I'm just saying, pony up. I don't know.
They will. They will.
They better.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. Yeah.
Like, who are they going to get next? Oh my God, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah. No, they're gonna have to pay the guy for sure, and I think they will. I always say this, like with assistants, if you believe in what you're doing and you're winning here and you're recruiting here and you feel like you're being paid well enough, like what does Nebraska have that others don't have aside from the ease of recruiting? If you want to recruit easier, then yeah, this is not the place for you. But I get the sense this is more about a defensive, like where you can put in different types of players and they don't have to be your prototypical guys. So yeah, this is a place where, they could stay around for a long time if it goes well.
Brett Venables.
I hope.
Yeah.
I suppose.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just hang around, be that high-paid assistant.
Brett Venables today on the show. They were like, he was there for 10 years. And Oklahoma missed him during that time, and Clemson misses him now.
Yeah, they definitely miss him now.
I think.
Well, yeah, it kind of makes you think, do you see head coaching in Tony White's future?
I wonder. I don't know. It would. I don't know. I don't know that yet. I don't know enough about him. He seems like a guy who's pretty content with being a DC. There's a lot of guys who have, former coach here is.
Wait, who? Former head coach Scott? That guy?
So we bleep his name. I love that bit, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great.
You can steal it for your show.
Not a bit.
It's real. That's one thing.
He should have stayed an offensive coordinator, though. He should have stayed an offensive coordinator. And he's really good at being an offensive coordinator.
So it's one thing. We can talk about quarterback Scott Frost all you want.
Not coach.
When we talk about former head coach Scott, that's different.
Yeah.
Those are two very
Understood.
different things.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
They most certainly are.
We love player Scott Frost. We love the player.
Yeah, he won that natty for us.
Come on.
He
Yeah.
pleaded.
At least a
He got us a
share.
natty. At least a share. He got us that share.
Got the share.
Yeah. Listen.
Whipping up votes. Scott Frost, the player.
Yeah.
Player. Quarterback.
Good save. Good save. You guys, is there anything else about the defense you guys want to talk about? Any particular player? Lenhart's injury, he came out the game pretty early.
I was looking for it. I rewatched the game.
He was on the sideline the whole game. And I was like, where's Cam Lenhart? And then I found him, and he was just kind of standing there. He was sitting on the bench and moving around a little bit. He didn't seem to be like visibly hurt.
Yeah.
So that was the same thing. So after the game, they have the press conference, the big press conference in one room, and then they have another side room for extra stuff. And Gabe Irvin was one of the guys who came in, and he gets done, and he walks in okay, and he gets done, and then somebody asked him like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, you came out, are you all right?" And this was off the camera, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be all right." So it was a surprise to me 12 hours later that he's out for the season, and maybe he either he knew it at the time and he was kind of just given he was just trying to not say anything right there, or he literally didn't know.
Well, when I heard about it, it said dislocated hip, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's,
we saw him run off the field. Yeah, we were waiting to see Matt Rhule come to the tunnel through the tunnel. We stayed the entire game.
Yeah,
with my 15-month-old, we just chilled.
Yeah,
right, and we're waiting for Matt Rhule to come to the tunnel. And we see Gabe. I was like, hey, look, there's Gabe. He's jogging back. Oh, he'll be fine. That's what I told Kyle. I was like, direct. I was like, he's jogging back to the locker room. He will be just fine.
He was in good spirits about it after the game too. I mean, he seemed totally fine. So maybe he literally didn't know that was a situation until later that night.
Yep. Then he got that little
which is funny because it was after 10 o'clock at that point.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you see him in the post game, and like you said, he's giving an interview. Like, everything's cool. And then my coworker's like, "Hey, did you hear?"
Yeah.
I'm like
thinking
what?
back on
What is it? What?
Thinking back on it, the way he said it was like, I'm gonna be okay. You know, maybe he knew.
Yeah.
But that was a surprise to me this morning. That's for sure.
He's going to be okay next year.
Yeah, I'll be okay later.
Yeah.
Next year.
Not right now.
God, that
We need
sucks.
you okay now.
Man, that poor guy. He's been hurt.
I know.
his whole career.
Just when you think like,
Best ability.
I hear you.
Just saying.
Look at these coach speak. I love the coach speak.
Hey, you know what? You came to the right podcast.
I
then.
do. I love it.
We
No
are
block, no rock.
basic. Speaking of that, you got our beer on tap.
I sure did.
The No
Indeed.
Bach, No Rock.
Yes, in this
We have
lovely
the
glass.
Cool tap handle. Probably the coolest tap handle in America right there.
Hell yeah.
I'm not biased at all.
Big
Not
old
yet.
micro-
No,
big
it
old
comes out of a microphone.
Hey,
You would appreciate that, Connor.
It
I
is
love
not,
microphones.
Number one.
Yeah, Connor 1. I'm Connor A.
No, you're
No, I'm Connor
you're
A.
Cav tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Connor.
take that.
You're Cav.
But Mike, you say probably the coolest tap handle in America. You're wrong. It is. It's definitely the
Definitely.
coolest tap handle in America. And you
Yes.
can get it, Jared. Where can you find that tap handle?
Underneath and Harrison in Lewiston, Nebraska, 68128.
Beautiful. He's got it memorized.
Yes, he does.
Like a robot. I guess that's really all I really have about the defense. You're pointing at me.
Oh, I was going to say, I did uphold my promise to the viewers, the listeners, to everybody that I would let Kyle pick my beer for the second half. And I lived up to that.
I
Kyle,
showed mercy.
he did.
Yeah, that was a bunch of
Mike was
BS.
trying to influence him to give me like an 11 or 12% beer. Kyle, what did you pick for me?
I got you the Wick for Brains
My dog.
in season right now.
Yeah.
Close.
Number one selling seasonal
Close.
beer of the year.
It's not. I don't know if it's time yet. Like we start the Oktoberfest. We start the pumpkins very early now.
Yes, we
I
did.
do have beer takes. I have beer takes.
Connor, you want to know what's crazy? I'm already sold out of Wick for Brains.
I believe you.
Like it's gone.
Well, they're selling like Oktoberfest in late July now.
Yeah.
So
We
like, what are you supposed to do?
we call it
You have to brew it.
seasonal
They're going to
creep.
buy it.
We call it seasonal creep, and that's not referring to me, but to the beer.
Yeah, because you're not
No, you're-
seasonal. You're
creep all around.
That's all the time.
all year
I'm
long.
a perennial. But no, yeah, like
It's called willing it into existence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But dude, yeah, pumpkins and Oktoberfest are already just like moving off shelves.
Yeah, just it's a couple weeks until Christmas sales come out.
Yeah.
Yep. gotta get your mistletoe beer.
All right.
Your
so
Christmas cookie.
Connor says he has beer takes. Connor, I want to ask you one beer take right away.
I used to host a beer podcast.
Oh, did you
Okay.
really?
What was it called? Not
It was-
lunch.
It was
beer.
It was
Was it the Connor Happer show?
It was called 3 Beers Later, and we drank 3 beers, and then we had a show. But really, it ended up being a lot more than 3 beers.
Yeah, that
Well
checks
done.
I
out.
probably said some very questionable things on that podcast.
I say questionable things on this podcast.
We had,
It's
we had-
mostly my football.
We had
takes.
Tim Miles on. There was our one shining moment. After he got fired, we were like, hey, come drink beers with us. And he was like, okay.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And so he did, and we unpacked the whole thing for 2 hours, and he just drank beers with us.
Gosh,
You
that
should have
seems so freaking cool, man.
You should have rekindled that 3 beers later a few months ago.
For what?
After the staff turnover at the football program. Just rekindle that 3 beers later podcast.
Didn't have as close of a relationship with ex-coach.
Well,
Yeah.
other guys were on that staff. Didn't have
Yeah.
to be him.
I wonder. Yeah. There's
don't
somebody-
know.
somebody's
Hey,
got to write a book
this is a-
about this at some
You
point.
This is
know,
for Cav. This is for Cav. Someone just asked, y'all got any ciders asking for a friend?
Yeah. You get a cider?
I do not carry ciders, but we do have seltzers. We are award-winning in seltzers, by the way. Not that I'm bragging,
Folks.
but in the U.S. Open in the last 2 years, we have 4 medals. So if you like seltzers, if you want gluten-free, we got them. We do not
Yes.
carry ciders, though. But
Yet.
For Connor 1,
Mhm.
you got beer takes. You've seen
Indeed.
the beers that we offer here. If there is one beer that I don't have up there, what should I make?
Oh, please answer this correctly.
Come on, I know what it
so
is.
I know what you guys think I'm gonna say.
What are you?
I know what
No,
you
no,
guys
no.
think I'm gonna say,
No.
and I'm not gonna say it.
We're not
because
underestimating you. Not at all.
Here's what the conventional wisdom would think that I would say. I would say that I really want to drink a hazy IPA. But
Okay,
no,
that's not what we
no,
want.
No,
That's not what we want.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Come on,
I'm
say
not.
I'm going to stand up and
Connor,
run away if you say what we're
Connor,
thinking.
I want
Say
to
it.
tell you right now that I love you just for that first part.
Yeah.
But finish
Overrated.
Yeah, agreed.
Come on.
I don't know. What
Come on.
I don't know what
He's gonna
I
say
don't know
it.
what you don't have.
Oh, I know what they don't have.
Yeah, me too.
And I know,
What is
the
your-
owners
Connor,
are watching too.
Connor, what is
What do you
your,
want me to say?
No, what's your favorite style? Don't worry about what these dickheads are trying to say.
We're gonna tell you.
What do
Don't
you
worry.
want?
I think that honestly, I've grown a lot more into the Pilsner. I know.
dog!
They already have
that. They already have. That's my favorite one. A good standard IPA is good. All right. Okay. Come on. What am I supposed to say here?
No, don't listen to them. No, don't listen to them.
What am I missing?
A coffee stout and call it 11 a.m. kickoff. Would that not be the best beer in Nebraska?
Connor, let me tell you something. I do love coffee stouts.
All right.
And I don't
if you
even
can't
drink
see,
coffee.
Mike is gone. He is done with this episode.
Oh,
Mike is done with this episode.
yes.
I do.
Is that not the best name ever?
And they don't have a stout.
They have stout.
Well,
We
hold
have
on.
several.
Called Big Noon
You're right.
Fox.
You're right.
We have
Call it the Big Noon
several
Fox
stouts.
kickoff or mock. Big Noon mock kickoff.
Big Noon Mock.
Yeah.
Mock. Jeez.
And get sued, baby. Use the same logo.
Yeah, big time.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
Francois
I did see
McGillicuddy's going to kill you.
Connor got a couple of comments there on his take.
No hazy boys. And thank God no more lazy IPAs is what two owners of Nebraska Brewing Company just said.
Good
Yeah.
call by them. Nice
Yes.
job.
You made some friends here today.
Good.
Now
See?
we just need that 11 a.m. kickoff.
Well,
beer.
it hit
Right.
an explosion. You know this, Connor. It exploded at some point. I don't
Yeah.
know what happened, but everybody had to make 17 hazy IPAs.
Yes.
It's not hazy enough. More haze. More haze.
Yes, you have to make it danker and
gotta-
say another weed joke in the in the name of it.
The leaf with his eyes all red going.
Is that hazy enough for you?
I think I drank so many of them that I just got sick of them. Like I physically couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I just backed off beer in general. And then I ended back up I had a whole beer journey. And I think I just ended back up on some pretty normal stuff.
Dude,
I took the roller coaster, ended back at the start.
You experimented and
Yes.
you found what you like.
Exactly.
It's one thing I say is beer is cyclical. You start with like standard core styles.
Yep.
You get into the funky stuff. And after a while with the funky stuff, you're like, dude, I just want beer.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I just want beer.
I don't want pine cone beer anymore. I'm
geez.
done.
Hey,
I don't need to live in
West
the
Coast,
wild.
Seriously.
West Coast
Why does it have
IPAs.
glitter in it? I have no idea.
No need for this.
No more glitter.
This guy's like, glitter.
No.
It could be.
I said I know for a fact Paul and Kim are watching right now. I'm gonna turn to the cameras.
Yeah,
for
you
this.
do that.
Paul and Kim, if
Coffee
you
stout.
ever suggest a glitter beer, I will resign on the spot.
That'll be the first thing they recommend. tomorrow morning.
Check.
That's all we had to do.
They're in a serious board meeting tomorrow with the PowerPoint. Just
Listen up, glitter beer.
glitter light. So back to football, if you
Thank
don't mind.
God.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Thank God.
Well, this is just a very wide-ranging question. Nothing really specific, because we do have someone on the talk wondering, what are your thoughts on the offensive line?
My thoughts?
Yes.
Well, I think they've figured out a way to make it sort of workable. I think it's certainly improved. Look, I mean, I don't know how good Turner Corcoran is at left tackle. I don't know how good Ethan Piper is at left guard. It turns out that Bryce Benhart kind of found something. Maybe he figured something out in the offseason, and New Willie, is pretty good, and Scott's been pretty good as well. So they're taking it really slow with Teddy Prohaska.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll continue to take it really slow with Teddy Prohaska. But I would call it, what is serviceable a fair term at that spot right now?
Well, we've made jokes about
It's not dominant.
traffic cones.
Sure.
So however you want to interpret that.
I don't have too many complaints about it this year, but that's only based off of what they've been in the past.
Right.
That's only because the bar was so low.
Yeah, and I think that's what we've said too, is like it helps that you have mobile quarterbacks like Sims and Harburg running around and not Casey kind of just waiting to get
Statue.
it.
Yeah.
And so that makes it look a little bit better. And then of course 54 has the one moment where you allow the sack, and it's always the bad stuff that explodes off the TV screen, but it's the good things that are just kind of under the radar.
I was talking to a former player this weekend about about Piper and, you know, he had the bad false start on the goal line
at Minnesota.
Yeah. And this person said, like, you do that because you're a bit unsure of yourself, or you're nervous, or you're scared, you know, like, and for a guy who's been around and played a lot of football, like that's a sort of a tough look. But jumping off sides or false start on the goal line, when all you got to do is kind of just dive at the guy's legs. Like, you don't have to do much. They're just kind of trying to get a yard.
There's no like technique you got to think about necessarily.
Right. So, I mean, and the mental thing, and I'm not saying, I don't mean to single out just him, but like there's a mental thing with the whole team that they sort of have to just get through and build some confidence with it. So I think that'll help as they go along. It's a rhythm position, just like quarterback is a rhythm position. If they get going, maybe it could work out. But I haven't seen anything to be like, man, this is like problem A right now.
Yeah. Like last couple years, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
I will say a couple of things specifically to this last Saturday. Mike and I did find ourselves, I was sitting right next to Mike. We found ourselves a couple times like noticing the offensive line. And like you guys said, if it's serviceable, like honestly, if you notice the offensive line, in most cases, it's probably bad. You should not be noticing the offensive line. If you are, it probably means something bad happened.
Unless he's taking his guy 20 yards down the field.
Yeah, that's ideal.
Or something incredibly good.
Right.
Yeah.
But then like in the third quarter, that drive where Ben Scott had 25 yards and penalties.
Yeah, like you got that holding call. Then you go and make the dumbassery play of going and hitting the guy late. And he's like,
I cheered so loud.
Yeah, I know you did. I watched your reaction.
Let's go!
Why are you so happy?
They still scored on that drive.
They did.
They still scored on that
Thank
drive.
goodness.
Yeah.
But like that's the type of stuff that you saw under the previous regime. It's just like boneheaded stuff. Like let's be disciplined. Let's not make those stupid calls. And like originally, like on the field, I'm like, oh, that's a really like bad tackle. Then I watch it again. I'm like, not really. Like he got tackled. Boo hoo. Move on. Like, why are you going and hitting a guy after the play?
Right.
All you're doing is hurting your team.
I mean, and it, like, that's the thing is like, this offense doesn't need any of that.
No.
Oh, God.
When you are a game manager, you need the game to be managed properly.
They cannot afford to be off schedule at all.
Right.
Yeah. They need to be in 2nd and 5.
Yeah.
They do not need to be in 1st and 20. That's for sure.
Margin for error is just virtually nil. It's 0.
Yep.
It's funny,
but I liked it when he did that. I liked it when Ben Scott did that.
I don't know.
You like a little aggression? You like a little sending a message?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do it against Michigan, though.
Okay. Speaking of sending a message,
Dude,
all right, finish your point, but I have a really good thing.
It's funny you say they need to be, 1st and 5 first instead of 1st and 20. I'm still terrified when we're 1st and 10. Like at the current moment, I'm still terrified when we're 1st and 10.
Yeah.
Like first.
What are
and
you
5
scared of that's going to happen the most? What? An interception or a fumble or what?
Turnovers.
Okay.
I don't, am I crazy? Is anyone at this table going to tell me I'm wrong?
No,
Like,
until they string a whole bunch of good games together, you're going to be scared about what the offense does on every play.
Yeah.
I think Kyle's drinking one of those right now.
Yep.
What is that?
Good game.
Good game.
Oh, good game.
That was the joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good one, but it was a joke.
So speaking of late hits, I'm going to take us a little off the rails for a second, but do you think that hit on Travis Hunter was dirty and late?
Oh yeah.
Well, it was late.
Was it dirty?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Come on.
if you're going that
Okay.
full speed after the ball's already landed, yeah.
But do you think it's more of like a Ben Scott hit where he's kind of like, hey, I'm going to do this? Like, I don't know if he was going out of his way to hurt the guy and what was it, puncture his spleen or something?
He's got a lacerated
his liver.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
liver.
Never heard
Lacerated
that
liver.
before. I've heard lacerated kidney, but no
Listen,
lacerated
let me
liver.
just say that I know you want to say it.
Yeah.
I haven't played D1 football, okay?
What?
But I'm telling you,
Could have sworn. Looking at you.
I'm
serious?
telling you right now, I could play O-line. I'm telling you, when you are out on the field or out on the court, sometimes you do shit in the heat of the moment.
No doubt.
And listen, we can talk about, we don't want to hurt play. Come on. There are moments on the basketball court when I've wanted to do that. So just imagine you're in full pads. Dude looks vulnerable.
And what he did before the game.
They've gotten all the talk.
Yep.
Did you hear what he
Dude,
said before the game?
yes,
Like what
it's-
Travis Hunter was doing before the game, too. So
It was dirty. And look,
Yeah, it's still bad though. Like
it is.
whatever the mindset.
I'm not saying
is.
it's not bad.
Yeah,
It's
right.
bad. It's dirty. It's dirty. Heat of the moment, I'm not excusing it. Just saying, yeah, it was dirty. Of course.
And I will make my point short because as I'm sure a lot of people are, tired of the attention Colorado is getting. Yes, that hit was absolutely malicious. I don't think you're like crazy to say it was. No. He potentially could have picked that ball. People saying like, oh, he was tracking Hunter that entire play. Yeah, that's what defensive players are meant to do. That's what they're meant to do. It was a very late hit. I don't think it was targeting like a lot of players are saying. But the one thing, I don't know if you guys saw my Twitter argument with Colorado fans today.
Oh, no.
What? God.
All I asked them, because Colorado fans were going nuts about that hit, saying it was malicious. And I responded.
Now they're threatening the guy's family.
Yeah, they're like death threats and everything else.
Ridiculous. And all I asked was I responded to one Colorado fan. And I said, do you think that Shedeur Sanders trying to gouge a CSU offensive lineman's or defensive lineman's eyes was not malicious? And they said, quit trying to justify the hit. And I said,
what aboutism?
I said, I wasn't trying to justify the hit. I find it malicious as well. All I'm asking is for you to justify the little fucking
Captain Insano
Larry,
move.
Curly, and Moe.
If we can review targeting this targeting, once again, there's no such thing as an offensive player on a football field. They're all wearing pads. They're not defenseless. But if we review targeting calls, why can't we review a guy who just gouged out a guy's eyeballs?
So no,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
It gets better. After I responded and said I'm not justifying that hit, I think it was malicious. I think it was a bad play. I want you to say that Shedeur Sanders was in the wrong for acting like that. And then they blocked me.
How dare you?
See, you can't tell them nothing right now.
Yeah,
they don't want to hear.
They're on cloud nine. That's okay. Though. They should
me.
be. They should be on cloud nine.
That would be all Nebraska fans if Nebraska was 3-0.
100%.
It doesn't matter. You can't tell me anything right now. Nebraska's 3-0. Whatever.
I wish Ben
we
Scott.
have the greatest coach in America. Don't talk to me.
I want Ben Scott to be poking eyes, boy.
I would
you can't review it. It's not reviewable. You can't get ejected.
I would like to think that, let's say Jeff Sims plays game 3 or even in one of the first 2 games, that if he goes at eyes like that in that Three Stooges manner, that Nebraska fans would at least be like, yeah, that's kind of fucked.
No, he's a dog.
Yeah. if they were number 18 in the country and they were 3-0 under the new coach, I don't know.
Well, you know what they would say, right?
I don't know.
He looks like a leader to me.
Yeah.
He's got that fire. He's got that Tommy Frazier in him.
Yeah.
Tommy Frazier totally did that.
No, he's got the LP in him.
Yeah.
We need a little bit of that again, man. Like, you need to, like when they started 7-0 in 2016, it was just like, yeah, I know they're not good, but I don't give a shit. Like, don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. We're going to Wisconsin, and that game, ended in overtime.
Yeah. And the following week, we won't talk about it.
And then
62-3. Yeah,
we don't talk about that.
That was a long drive.
Listen, give me a lot. Just give me 5 Richie Incognitos, man. Give me 5 of them, motherfuckers.
Is that what it was?
I want that Ben Scott thing. I know it's cheap. It was stupid, but I loved it. Gosh, sorry.
I like that.
Sorry. Listen,
It's okay.
come on. I don't have to apologize for that. Let's move on to Louisiana Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, whenever I see a guy named Smoke Harris on a roster,
Badass
Sick
fucking
name.
I'm
name.
like,
Awesome name.
I'm like, oh fuck.
We're screwed.
We also
Oh,
have
no.
Dakotas Crawford, by the way.
Well,
Yeah.
the coldest.
Yeah.
Would you like the coldest or Smoke? Who did you
Smoke?
Well, if you drink hazy IPAs, you like Smoke Harris. for
Smoke
sure.
Harris is an awesome name.
I think is that his given? I think that's his given.
Has to be.
No, it's not.
I
has to
think it
be.
might be.
Doubt it.
I was googling it and I didn't
Just
see
like Sauce Gardner. That's not his name.
I didn't see any smoke in quotation. So I'm just
So I don't know
All
if
the
you
vape
guys,
shops.
if you guys watched any NFL yesterday. I just found out Tank Dell's name is not Tank. His name's like Anthony. And his mom nicknamed him Tank because he had a big head as a kid.
His name
Like,
is
that's the
Sham.
whole story.
his name is Lester.
Yeah.
So Smoke Harris's name is Devon.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
What a boring name.
Okay.
Devon.
But to be,
Devon Dion Harris.
let's be honest,
Dion?
though.
Devon Dion.
Well, I bet he was named after Dion.
Let's be honest, though.
He has
If-
a sister. His sister's name is LaBrittany.
The Brittany.
La Brittany?
Never heard that before.
Don't need to say
But-
any jokes about that.
Let's be honest.
We don't need to.
If you had the choice between being called Devon or Smoke, all of us are choosing Smoke.
Smoke. Call
right?
me Smoke all day
Dude,
long.
call me
Yeah.
Smoke all day.
It's Smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a boring name. He's like, let's add some smoke to it.
Yeah. You know what adds to that is the fact that he's like 5'7", just like that he's a gamer. And like
This is college football, man. This is the best thing about college football.
Yeah.
Random
Yeah.
dudes from Louisiana Tech who are named Smoke.
Yeah.
This is the
Badass.
Yes, exactly.
The badassery.
I want to bring up something that Connor 1 said. Again, Connor A. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Your
here.
Cav. I don't know why you keep saying Connor A. Your
Because
Cav.
Connor A sounds cool. Dakotas Crawford.
Yeah.
On Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, he hasn't played this year.
Is this
No.
is he going to be in for this game?
I don't think so.
No.
No, he might still be hurt. I don't remember he got hurt at the beginning of last year.
yeah.
I think he has to like come back and has to write a check to that SOS company.
Yeah.
So he's like, damn it, I'm not playing. I'm not showing up.
I wanted to create some controversy as like, is this a revenge game
The
for
Dakotas
all the
Crawford
0 snaps he took here?
revenge game. No, I don't think it is.
Dude, how could it be a revenge game? Like we help.
Although I
you get
still
a-
have
we
bad
help you-
memories when I hear Sonny Cumby. Like I don't feel good. I don't feel good when that. He's their coach.
Yeah.
Um,
Texas Tech.
got some Texas Tech memories in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be straight air raid.
Well, and that's the thing about Louisiana Tech is like the thing that you remember most about them is 98, Rattay and Troy Edwards coming to
Troy
town and
Edwards.
putting up numbers. Like their identity is still that. It's still running fun and gun, putting up numbers nonstop.
Do you know which conference Louisiana Tech is in?
Are they they're not AAC.
Because
They're,
I actually don't. I think they're in Conference USA,
think
but
they are
I'm not.
USA.
I'm not sure.
Conference USA sounds.
I was gonna guess USA, but I have no idea if I'm
gonna say
being honest.
Conference USA.
And if you could name like more than 5 teams
Conference
in Conference
USA.
USA,
Dude, I couldn't name more than 2.
yeah.
this could be a good game. Name teams in Conference USA.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I like seriously, it's changed so much in the last like 3 years. I used to know maybe, but now I definitely don't.
Is Troy in there?
Do you want to
Yeah,
know?
they're a
Do you want to know
Sunbelt.
the teams?
Yeah.
They're a Sunbelt.
All right, hold on.
Which there you
So
go.
right now,
Hold on. What's that? Connor, take 2 more guesses.
Take a stab.
In Coosa in Conference USA. Is there like a UT something in there?
Oh
you are right. You just have to finish the last 2 syllables or 2
So
letters.
there's a UT in there.
UTEP.
UTEP. Okay,
Yeah.
UTEP. Is there a UTSA in Conference USA, or are they a
No.
Sunbelt?
No.
I think they're Sunbelt.
Okay. See, these
See,
conferences get mixed together.
Yeah, they're all the same. That's why I love Maction on like a Thursday or a Wednesday. It's just great.
Yeah.
You want? Okay.
Yeah,
Here's the
yeah,
team.
Fire
Here's
them at
the
me, honestly.
Liberty, Jackson State,
No.
Whoa, hold on.
Liberty did Liberty
Jackson
just blow
State,
somebody
not
out?
Jacksonville State. No, was it Jacksonville?
Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville
Yes.
State.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
AKA
Jack State.
the home of Logan Smothers.
Yeah.
Oh
Jackson,
yeah.
Jackson
Yeah.
State is an HBCU.
Yeah. You got La Tech. You got Western Kentucky,
There you go.
Middle Tennessee State, Sam Houston, Florida International.
Sam Houston was in the WAC like for the last 4 years.
Yeah, and it was whack, so they
Dude,
left.
Conferences are crazy.
Yeah, you got
Conferences don't make any sense.
Florida International, New Mexico State, and UTEP. It's
There
a
you go. Florida International, New Mexico State.
and people worried about
Yeah.
conference realignment. Look at the USA.
Yeah.
So
the Coosa.
that's actually one thing, Connor, as we talk about how weird conferences are. How do you feel about, what I feel is a consolidation of conferences going to what we really recognize now as the Power 2? What do you see the future of football like? Do you like that?
It stinks. No, I like. I'm old school. I like it the way it used to be. Like I like regional rivalries. It's still a little odd that Nebraska's in the Big Ten, even.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's taken a long time to sort of get over that piece of it. I hate that. Like, I just think there's a college football like ecosystem,
Mhm.
right? So we talk about how Conference USA and Sunbelt and all the Group of 5 conferences stink all the time, but they need to be there in order for just the health of the overall ecosystem. I like that the Pac-12 exists. I don't have to pay attention to the Pac-12.
Sure.
Like this part of I don't have to pay attention to flies and bugs, but I like that they're there.
they're
I like-
pollinated.
I like that they're there.
Maction
They're
I
like,
love-
they're fun to watch. Like,
I love some action.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to any of it, but I like that they're there just for the overall sort of health of the sport. So, we're probably headed toward 20 plus teams in the SEC and the Big Ten, and it's going to be sort of an NFL light thing, which stinks because I think there's a real like soul to college football, and that has been removed.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear. Is I think it's going to be like, okay, well, let's look at the TV ratings.
Yeah.
These are the top 40 teams.
Yeah, that's already happened.
20 teams are going over here, 20 teams over here. NFL, there'll be playoff, and then that's going to leave out a lot of people.
Yeah, TV
and
runs
that's
the sport.
sad.
I mean, we have to bow at the almighty television contracts. That's
Hey.
I have one question, and this is a little bit of a wild concept. It is not my idea, but I've seen it thrown around. Much like the Premier League, relegation.
You want some relegation.
Do you think relegation could work if we
I
are
think it's
going
too radical.
to this?
Like it's too quirky, right?
Yeah.
It's I don't necessarily want to base college football off of anything else. I like college football and its uniqueness.
Sure.
Now if there is relegation, you got to prove it in results. That's the one thing that's so, we're talking about brands and TV money right now. As much as we don't like that and we want it to be about results, it still is always going to be about the brands, especially as long as the TV networks are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, Nebraska's in a good place as far as that's concerned. If it was about exclusively what you did on the field, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, if I was Rutgers, I'd be
You'd be a little
pissed.
scared right now.
Yeah.
You'd be.
If you were Rutgers, you'd be pissed.
Rutgers
if I
has
were
the best
Nebraska.
deal out of everybody right now.
because they suck and they're still getting paid.
So the ultimate doomsday of this thing is what happens when Ohio State wakes up one day and they say, "Hey, why the hell are we getting paid the same as Rutgers is
That's
to
true.
be in the Big Ten Conference?" That is when the doomsday happens. That's when the meteor strikes college
That's
football.
going to happen because you can say, Rutgers, they're under the Big Ten banner, so they're safe. Not if President CBS comes through and says, "Hey, Tony Petiti, drop these guys. What are you doing?
Well, we don't need Rutgers.
What are they adding to you? Oh, the New Jersey market, the Tony Soprano memes on Twitter. That's it. That's all you're getting.
They get the last spot on the cool Big Ten commercial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, over
What
there.
a bonus.
That's right. It's like I love the Sopranos, but that's not why they're in the conference. I don't even know why they're in the
Well,
conference.
now
Ask Jim
you are
Delaney.
from New Jersey to freaking California.
Coast to coast,
Coast to coast.
I'm sure there's another
nonsense.
coastal team over there you could get.
And I
Besides
also
that.
I also love like the stylistic differences between the conferences too.
Yeah.
I do. Think about it. We're going to live in a world next year where USC and UCLA have to somehow assimilate into the rest of the conference, or I don't know what they're going to do.
Or vice versa.
I'm just talking about from a football standpoint. Like that's
Right.
crazy. Nebraska had it really hard when they entered the Big Ten for a variety of different reasons. I mean, they were good at the time. So they got tough schedules and they weren't prepared for the physicality of the conference at the time. And so they had it really hard for a long time. they still haven't-
do.
They still haven't adjusted, right? Completely. Although I think they have a coach now who likes the idea of being a Big Ten West team. And now you have USC and UCLA who are moving in, and the conference is such a hodgepodge of all these different things now where they might not quite have it as difficult. And they get the full payout right away.
Right.
Well,
which is nice for them.
I've heard that the teams that they've added now are getting less and less of
Oregon
the payout.
Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
We forget Oregon and Washington are going to join the Big Ten too. They're going to get less.
Yeah.
They're going to get less because they were just dying so bad to get out of the Pac-12.
And they're like,
Yeah.
we'll
Gotta-
take whatever deal you give me.
Yeah, got
Get
them
me
on
out
a
of
bargain.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it. I'll take Oregon and Washington on a
As long-
bargain.
and the Big Ten presidents and chancellors will accept anything as long as it doesn't affect their bottom line.
Mhm.
sure.
So what
Which
they
is
said for
Rutgers.
Oregon, Washington was cool. Come on in as long as I don't get less money.
Yep.
That was
So-
the story.
Let's go crystal ball as we talk about these teams getting added to the Big Ten. Do you see USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington? Is the Big Ten, like former head coach Scott said, is the Big Ten going to have to adapt to them, or are they going to have to adapt more to the play style that the Big Ten has really been known for the last forever.
I think it's
100
really
years.
it's really good for them, the West Coast schools, that they have their friends coming with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
It's
I love that.
It's really a good thing for them. So, I'm interested to see if they, split it up in pods or how the schedules sort of work in the first couple of years. But like I said, it's such a hodgepodge that, it's not the same as when Nebraska joined the league and they had to assimilate to everybody else.
Mhm.
It's a different thing. Now, will they have to a little bit? Will USC playing Iowa, Illinois, and Michigan State present different challenges than them playing Arizona State, Arizona, and
Yeah.
Utah?
Sure.
No, Utah's a bad example because they're kind of like a Big Ten team.
They're
Yeah.
the most physical team
Yeah. But
that didn't go to the Big Ten.
it presents different challenges. So I think there will be an adjustment there, but it certainly won't be as big of a learning curve as it was for Nebraska when they joined the league. I think it's a little shorter than that.
Diversifying a bit.
Yeah, no, I think there's gonna be just an easier transition for them, given that the league, you don't even need the league doesn't even, it doesn't even exist in the same way we thought it did 10 years ago.
All right. Well, I know we're getting close to wrap up time. I did want to ask one question.
Cool.
Mike and I drove back, and Connor drove back from Minnesota, and we listened to Overreaction.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. We
Oh,
listened
great.
to your overreaction.
Oh, yeah.
My man. Hey, I did listen to, even though I wasn't with you guys. My man. That was some of the most painful. The folks calling in were down bad. I just want to know, like,
They're so
what is it
drunk.
like being a therapist on the radio? Like, it has to be so exhausting.
Well, I started doing a daily radio show in this state in August of 2015. So go ahead, think back. That's Mike Riley's first year. That's right before Mike Riley's first year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've had to be every day.
You got a PhD in it.
Every single day.
He wouldn't know how to handle the winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what do I do? I don't know. What am I talking about? I've never had like this overly celebratory Big Red Overreaction or post-game show or anything like that. There's been way more inexplicable freakouts than there has been, good moments. And that game wasn't inexplicable freakout,
Right.
but it was trying to get people to be like, hey, this isn't going to happen overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you just,
Yeah. Well,
there's,
and
there's
we,
only so much you could do. And it doesn't help that everybody's hammered and, it's the first game of the season.
You were
And
on so late that night.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got off air at 1:15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was incredible.
Yeah.
not necessarily that game, but over your tenure, and maybe
I got one right away.
Go.
What is the one that just like sticks out?
2021 Illinois, first game of the year.
Yeah, week 0.
Yep.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Hottest game I ever attended, actually.
That was, I was like, what is going on? If you weren't already wondering about how that was going to work out by then, you were after that game.
Yep.
That was, and there was a lot of games in 2020 where you really should have seen the warning signs.
That's when we had the warning signs.
Minnesota.
We were
like Minnesota, like Illinois. There was a lot of WTF games in 2020, but that game in 2021 cemented it. And then there was a nonstop waterfall of those games in 2021.
Yep.
Like Michigan State,
Mm.
Michigan, Iowa. You can keep on going down the line. Minnesota. They lost all those games by a touchdown. And they were all huge WTFs. Like,
Yep.
what happened? But that's the one. And it stinks when, and unfortunately, we've had some experience doing this in the first game of the years now. You have your first game, and then you feel like, damn, well, let's try again next year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Where like expectations didn't meet reality and everybody's just losing their minds.
Right. And it felt like they've started the season with conference games each of the last 3 years now, and they've lost them all.
Mhm.
And that's a huge hole to put yourself in right away.
On the road, too, by the way.
On the road or in Ireland.
Yeah, or in Ireland.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We don't talk about Ireland.
I guess they've done it the last 4 years because when 2020 you include Ohio State as
State.
well. Yeah.
What do you know what games you're scheduled for this season?
Yes. I just have to look it up.
Okay.
I do have this weekend.
Okay. So you might actually get some good calls.
This could be easy. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, what was it? John and Hanley had it this Saturday. So they got all the nice calls, all the Harburg's our guy. I love Harburg.
Heisman Harburg.
Yeah, Heisman Harburg.
Let's
They
go.
got all those calls. So you get a field.
This could either
This
be.
wave.
This is how I look at these games. It could be horrible.
Yeah.
Or it could be mildly interesting. Like there's not a high ceiling on it, but there's a really low floor. And then Northwestern with Gary.
Oh, you're gonna you're gonna like that.
Oh, and you get Gary. Nice.
And then Maryland with Josh.
That could go either way.
Boy.
Okay.
Sure. And
That's
I
a
have
recipe.
I have the finisher with Iowa, the old Black Friday.
Really?
Oh.
I'm setting a record of most Big Red overreactions this year.
Yes,
Hell
you
yeah.
are.
Hey, you know
They
what?
have you doing the
I'm
grunt
glad
work.
you're doing it.
Yep.
You control the audience. You do.
You're good at steering emotions.
And you also make people who are dumb sound dumb.
Yeah.
I hope that's what you're trying to do. But you make people
Well, I
that
don't want to make people feel dumb, but I do want to be like, hey, what the like if they're saying something batshit crazy, you have
stupid.
you have to be like, all right, man, come on.
Well,
What-
they
a
were,
break.
what were they saying? It was the Minnesota game. They were talking about a player from like last year.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, he doesn't play here.
Well,
Or he
here's the
it's
thing.
Casey Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Casey Thompson plays at Florida Atlantic.
I'm sure he's going to do great at Florida Atlantic. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
what it was.
Thank you.
I remember that.
Yes, we were listening to the way. I'm like, God, I hate it. Like, he
Listen.
probably just.
Nebraska fans, man, like, we are the most informed. We're the most educated fan. There's people out there, man.
It's always people.
There are people.
It's always people.
Couple of these.
Baby.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say anything.
I do have to point out, I know we're getting ready to wrap up. We did not preview Louisiana Tech at all.
Score predictions.
We
got
said
to-
smoke.
We got to run around with score
Yeah,
predictions.
smoke.
Smoke that Louisiana Tech pack.
Yeah. Are we starting with me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you want to do
All
it so
right,
bad.
So I do want to point out for all the viewers and fans out there, all 6 of you. I don't know. I didn't look at numbers, but I was the most accurate score prediction for last week with 31-14 Nebraska. I will tell you right now, I told Kyle this before the episode started. I'm rocking with it again. It is 31-14 Nebraska.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I next?
Michael Delaware.
Michael
Yeah,
Delaware.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'm gonna say 38-6 Nebraska.
36.
38-6.
I know the defense is good. But
Michael
Dude, I
Delaware
said
getting
3.
some confidence
And
going.
they should have had that 3. If they didn't have that petty ass drive,
Hey,
they would have
shoulda-
only given up 3 points. last
Shoulda,
week.
coulda, woulda.
So, Connor number 1.
Yeah, but they have smoke.
I don't care about smoke,
Smoke.
right now.
His
If
name
he
is-
gives me that smoke, I'll talk about it next week.
His name's Smoke.
Let's try.
Now that you
I like picking weird scores.
I like the weird
I
score.
like picking weird scores. So let me come up with a weird number.
you know-
Nebraska's gonna win.
Do you know scoregami?
I do know scoregami.
Yeah. So did you also know that?
By the way, what's the line for? Has anybody seen the point spread for this weekend?
Nah. Did you know that if you pick a correct score,
We are favored
NBNR?
by 20.
if you pick a correct score on NBNR, there's a trophy.
Yep.
There is a trophy. I'm currently the holder.
It's
Okay.
the best score guesser guy award.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said,
now
that I know,
now he's like,
now that I know that there's a trophy, I'm going to really lock in for this. Let's go with 33. 33 to 17.
Okay.
Oh. Not a
33-17.
bad pick.
33 to 17. So it's not a cover.
Okay. Jared, I'll let you go.
33 to 21.
Why do you have 33? Why do you both have 33?
I don't know.
You both
33, I
got
like picking weird
red
scores.
freaking
All right.
beards.
Yeah.
Same score. Oh,
Beautiful feet. Hello.
hello.
33-21. Bam.
Bam.
Nebraska?
Yeah.
Okay. Just check.
Smoke. No. Yeah. Nebraska. Smoke Harris by himself.
Mr. KB.
Ooh. Come on. You knew this was coming.
I know.
If you say 33,
oh,
I can't. I can't
Kyle,
do
if
this.
you
Everybody
say
say
33,
33.
I'm jumping across this table.
No. No.
If you say coffee stout, I'm gonna fucking run off the table again.
I'm gonna say 31.
Love it.
Very close to 33.
31 to 13.
Oh, you're dogging me by 1 point?
Yeah.
This ain't Price is Right, brother.
Yeah.
Guess what? Your price is wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the only one on the podcast to guess a correct score.
On your second try.
You made me. No, it was
we're
my
doing
first guess. It was my first
So
guess.
you have the trophy?
I do have
It's
the
in
trophy
the
currently.
trophy case over there.
Yeah.
Next to our awards for
It's-
winning the Nebraska Podcast Award show.
Oh, shit.
Nice. Congratulations.
It's
Yeah.
a plastic
Yeah.
trophy with just like trainer's tape that Kyle put on there, and he like hand wrote it in Sharpie. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's all I ever wanted, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win it.
We're gritty, man.
No, I'm keeping it. 2 years in a row. I'm getting it. It's 31-14.
Okay.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to sign off here.
Okay.
First of all, go to nbnrpodcast.com. We have merch there. We have hats. We have polos. No tote bags. Nothing crazy like that.
We should have tote bags.
We should, but we don't. So, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube.
TikTok, YouTube, all the same handle.
Instagram. Did we say that?
Yep.
Okay. I'm colorblind.
At NBNR Podcast. Go follow us. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple,
Amazon.
Give us a 5-star review. We need it for the algorithm. We need more votes than Happer. I think we might have more votes than you on Spotify.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dang.
No, I don't know how much.
Damn,
that
we're just
helps.
throwing him under the
He's-
bus right
he's
now.
Making,
Bam.
making
Tough.
shit up over
Now-
here.
Also go listen to
tough
Connor
look for
Happer's
me.
Well,
show.
this is what I'm going to go follow us. Give us a 5-star review. Now, Connor, I'm going to throw it over to you, and I want you to plug yourself. Where can people find you? Where can people listen to your awesome takes?
I'm not on Well, I'm not. The show is not on TikTok.
You could
which
do a little TNA.
I would
Little
love to
feet-
get on
feet and
TikTok. But I scroll through TikTok all the time. I don't think I've seen you guys pop up.
That means your
come
algorithm
on.
is
Oh.
fucked.
Yeah.
No block, no run. It's gonna
I like to think I put out decent content. Maybe you
Yeah.
can.
It'll come up. Don't
Follow
worry.
us.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
It hurt.
I would
It'll
say
figure
before
it
you
out.
leave. Before you leave,
Give us a follow.
Oh yeah, I could do it.
Dude, hey,
listen,
You'll
I already
find
followed
it
you
right
on
there.
Twitter. I will give you pipeline jerky.
Okay, hey, I got a question.
You got it with you?
you guys
Oh,
can't see
I
it,
was
but
gonna bring
Kyle's
it-
got a knife under the table,
Yeah.
forcing Connor to
Hey,
follow
I got a
us
question
on
for you.
TikTok.
Why did you decide to have me on?
So I was listening. Listening to your show.
Yeah.
What spurred this on?
So I listen to your show most days if I'm not busy with a crazy 15-month-old or 16-month-old, whatever she is now. But I was just like, gosh, Connor, he says a lot of the things that we have been saying, but he says it on a much larger like platform.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like he would vibe well with this podcast.
And
Goddamn, I'm right every time. Yeah, that was really it. It was just like, I don't remember. I wish I could remember the segment, but I was just driving in my car. I had an appointment in the middle of the day.
Looking
and
at the clouds.
Yeah, and I was tuning into 1620 The Zone.
Thinking
Make
about
sure you
you.
go follow them. And I was just like, gosh, we need to get Connor on the show. And that's what I reached out, and instantly he's like, I'm down. I was like,
Yeah,
well, that was the hardest thing I've ever had
yeah,
to
I'll
do.
go on any podcast and any podcast, but you guys are the only people who have asked so far. So I'm,
Hey,
we're
you know
here.
what? And that gives us a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem
Get
like
a trophy for that.
you seem like just listening on the radio, through the radio, coming through my car. You seem like a very approachable fella.
Yes.
And you said yes right away.
100%.
So you proved me right.
instantly.
Yes.
I want to point out, we talked about this, I think maybe week one, maybe just before week one, that we were going to declare a dog of the week.
Yeah.
This week's dog of the week, gotta be Connor Happer.
Wow.
Not Harburg.
Oh,
Nah, it's Connor Happer.
Oh, come on.
I win the dog of the week for coming to a place where you guys could have murdered me. if you
That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
it was
we're not
right there
done
in my
yet.
basement. Yeah. We
We're
used
not
to
done
record
yet.
in my basement.
We would
and
live stream
This
your
is where we
murder.
ended up. We're at a brewery and we drink for free. So
How do you think we get so many viewers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People like
live murders.
Yes.
Yeah,
Live
that would
murders.
get you some viewers.
I like it.
yeah.
I will tell you that dog of the week does not come with a trophy, but
Okay.
it does come with a picture at the end of the show.
That's
Hey.
cool.
Hey, 2 Connors, 1 mug, right?
Yeah.
So you all go listen to Connor Happer, 1620.
Send it to 1620 The Zone, and yeah, that's basically.
Big Red Overreaction.
You could. I mean, we're streaming all over the place too. So
You'll find it.
YouTube and
Okay.
the website and all that stuff.
Yes, sir. Okay,
I
guys.
appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you for
on.
coming.
We
Thank you for the
appreciate it.
beer. It was delicious. Shout out Nebraska Brewing Company.
He finished it.
That was
He
great.
did.
You know, he's not
Didn't
just
even have to
saying-
think about it.
He didn't go.
Yeah.
Hey, you only had 2 of their 3 beers, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
All
right,
right,
start
guys.
the podcast after that.
What do you say we sign off?
Let's sign
Yep.
off.
I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Kyle Byers.
Connor Cadillac.
Connor Happer.
As always, beat La Tech, beat Smoke Harris in GBR.